All right, welcome to the Roboguide demos. So today we're going to be looking at a demo of Lab22, macro commands, how to set up macros. And so what we're going to do is in Lab22 you have to set up 3 macros. One is assigned to one of the teach pendant keys. The other one is assigned to one of the digital inputs, and one is assigned to manual functions. So the first thing for the teach pendant key and the one assigned to the digital input, we're going to use 2 of the existing shape programs, the circle and the triangle. For the manual functions program, we're going to create a program called zero position. And what it is, it's a program, very simple program, just has 1 point in it, and it sends the robot to all zeros of all the joints to all zeros. So that would be a good way if you were going to check the calibration of the robot joints and make sure it has an accurate reference point. You would send it to that position, and then you could just take a look at the witness marks and make sure that the robot is actually accurately in that position. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is go and create this zero position program. So I'm going to go to select, create. Actually, before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a position register for the all zeros. So click on data, brings up registers. If I want to get position registers, I go to type position register, and I'll take the next available one, which is position register 4, and I'll give it a name called, bring up the keyboard, all zeros. So then over here where the asterisk is, I just go to position. And now initially, remember, position registers default to Cartesian positions, but I don't want to define 0, 0, zeros in Cartesian. Actually, that position is not reachable because it's inside the body of the robot. I want to change it to joint representation. So I do go down here to REPRE, click on joint, continue. Now I can enter values for the joints. So I'm just going to enter zeros. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, that's it. So now I have a position register which sends the robot to all zeros. I just have to put that position register into a program. So I'm going to go to select, create. Okay, so we want to create a program called zero position. Click on keyboard, 0_POS position, and then we go to edit. And again, we're just going to do put a point in. It doesn't matter which one it is, because we're going to change this anyway. We go click on where it says 0.1, and we go to choice, position register, and I think it was position register 4. Yep, that's all zeros. So, okay, now we can run the program. Just check it. Shift forward, and notice the robot goes to the all zeros position. Then I can just jog it out of that position so we can see it go back there. Okay, so we've now just completed that first part of the lab and verified it. So now we're going to just go through the steps to create 3 macros, and I'm going to do them in order just like they're listed here. So the first one is going to be, we're going to take the circle program and assign that as a macro and assign it to one of the teach pendant keys. So if I go over here, the macro control teach pendant keys are down here. They're 7 keys: tool 1, tool 2, move menu, setup, status, IO position, and I think, is this one of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it's right here. So anyway, those are all the user keys available for macros. So that would be user key 1, user key 2, and so on, up to user key 7. So to get a macro set up, I go to Menu, Setup, Macro, and the first one, I don't really have to name it, but so under here you can select which program you want. If you go to Choice, and these are all my programs, so I'm just going to get my circle program, which is right here. And this is where you determine what kind of key you want to send it to, assign it to. Now remember, with macros, this is any motion program has to be assigned to a shifted user key. You don't want to assign it to a user key. In fact, it won't even let you if you try to just do an unshifted user key. Oh, look at that. It did let me do it, but I'll probably get an error. Yeah, there it goes. When I tried to put the number in, it gave me an error. Can't assign motion. And the reason for that is if you were inadvertently, you're holding the teach pennant and you happen to press that button without thinking, you don't want the robot to start moving around. So that's more of a safety feature. So make sure it's a shifted user key, and we're just going to use user key number 1. And that's done. And I guess it automatically gives the name EEJH circle, which I could change if I want, but I'll leave it like that. So let me just demonstrate it, because now that it's set up, if I just do Shift and user key 1, which is tool 1, it goes and does my circle program. Okay, so I've now created a macro for that, so I can just press a key rather than doing selecting the program and doing run. It's on a hotkey. So the idea of a macro is to make a program, some kind of motion sequence that you might need to do repeatedly, maybe during maintenance, assign it to a key so you can just quickly hit that key and have it do the motion. Okay, the next one we're going to do is assigning the triangle program to digital input 2. And so right down here, we just click the program, which is my triangle program. And the control key is going to be digital input DI number 2. Now the difference between having a shifted user key macro and a macro that is working from the digital input is that the teach pennant has to be off to activate the one with the digital input. So I just have to turn that off, and now all I have to do is go find that input, go to Menu, IO, Digital, and now it comes up with the output, so I click on in/out to bring up the inputs. And so all I need to do is make this digital input 2 true. And remember from the last lab we did, the lights lab, in order to be able to control an input internally from the teach pennant, you have to simulate it. And that disconnects it from the actual physical wired connection to some sensor or a switch. So you can just operate it through the teach pennant. So I click this, it should do my triangle program. And there it goes. Triangle, that goes forward and reverse. Okay, so there's that macro. And then the last one we're going to do is we're going to assign the 0 position program that we just created to a manual functions menu. So that's another place where you can activate macros. So you can do macros from a digital input, from a user key, or from a digital input. All right, so back to the menu, set up macro, and this one, I'm going to just get our 0 position program, and I'm going to change this to say check calibration, because that's the real function or the purpose of that macro, check calibration. Okay, and to assign it to manual functions, we go here to choice, and where it says MF, just MF, and it said to assign it to manual functions menu item 4. Okay, so now to activate that macro, the teach pendant has to be on in this case. And I just go to menu and, oops, menu, and it's the third item down on the menu, manual functions, and you'll see that now we've got this thing called check calibration. There were a bunch of predefined manual functions in here, but this is the one that we're going to do. So to execute it, you just do Shift Execute, and you notice the robot went into that 0 position. Let me do it again so you can really, I'll just make it out of position. Okay, so Shift Execute quickly moves the robot so that all the joints are 0. That was our check calibration. Okay, so those are the 3 macros. This one, there was another one, Shifted User Key 1 is the one that draws the circle. And then if we turn the teacher pendant off, go to Menu, I/O, Digital, and turn the digital input. I have to turn it off first, and then on again. That's my triangle macro. Okay, so there's some examples of macros. I'm just going to unsimulate this before I stop. All right, I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and good luck with the lab.